Horror movies are most commonly shot at night when the characters and audience can't tell what is lurking in the dark. Vulnerability is what horror movies prey on. When a person can't see, hear, or is limited or restrained in any way, they feel powerless and helpless, which is exactly what producers are trying to portray. The lighting in our movie is meant to be low-key, which we were able to accomplish with the help of a towel, which we used to cover the window and allow less natural lighting in. Then, during the editing process, we touched the lighting up just a bit more with filters, and were able to make the film look as though it were shot at night. Costuming is another necessary part to filming. The costume you decide on needs to match the theme and time period of the film. For example, if the movie is a noir, the characters would not be wearing cowboy hats and carrying a whip. Costuming and makeup go hand in hand and are both very necessary. In our film, we chose the killer to be in all black, almost as if he can blend into the night. You cannot see the killer's face, which keeps the mystery in the movie, as well as makes the killer's appearance and atmosphere that much scarier. Natalie's costume is just a basic pair of jeans and a flannel, which is paired with a backpack that she discards in the beginning. Her costume is important because it gives away to the information about the character. She appears young, is dressed in modern clothing, and is carrying a backpack. This tells the audience that she is a student, most likely in college. Finally, Gracie's costume is a simple robe, her hair is thrown into a bun, and she lacks any makeup. The purpose of her simple costuming is to show the time of day. Gracie appears to be getting ready for bed, since she is washing her face and preparing herself for what appears to be a night in. Her simple attire and appearance can also tell the audience, as well as the killer, that no one will be expecting her anytime soon, because she appears to be staying in, so there will be no one to come for help. When the roommate, Natalie, finally comes home the next morning, she notices the bathroom is all a mess. Aside from the very obvious bloodstains, props such as toothpaste, toothbrushes, shaving cream, lotion, soap, and other basic bathroom items are thrown about, as if there were a struggle. When we first filmed the scene, we did not think about the blocking of the scene, and had the bathroom the exact same as before. We soon realized that if someone were to be stabbed in their bathroom, there would probably be something out of place. So we reshot the scene and knocked everything down, as well as added some blood to the counters too. Props are very important in making the setting look real and believable. We did have to pay close attention to the continuity. We did this by taking before pictures of every scene we shot, so to be sure that the toilet seat would not magically open when it had been closed a second before. The intro begins with an over-the-shoulder shot that dollies out to the side to show Gracie washing her face, as well as showing a bit of the bathroom to show she's alone. We added some graphic match cuts of random scenes of blood and the killer writing on the wall to add suspense through the quick flash forwards. We used a tracking shot from the front to show Natalie walking towards the bathroom, but to make it known that she has not seen anything yet. As she walks into the bathroom, the camera shifts to a point of view shot to show all the blood and mess that Natalie is seeing. Finally, we switch back to an over-the-shoulder shot of the writing on the wall, traveling down to show Gracie's body. We used iMovie to edit our film, which we had practiced with all year. Any speaking, which was only near the end with Natalie, was recorded on her headphones, which we then sent to the computer and added to her scene. The ripping sound that we had at each transition was from a piece of paper that we tore in half in the microphone. We also used Natalie's obnoxious car for our long beeping noise. Each credit that flashed in between scenes used a scary font that Gracie was able to download. Our titles and transitions were meant to fill the space between events, so we did not need to film the entire second-by-second scene of the murder. Horror movies oftentimes follow the stereotypes like dumb blonde or the jock, and many times have characters such as teenagers, creepy children, supernatural characters, and a scary-looking villain. Our movie did not have any stereotypical or supernatural characters. We did, however, have a villain, a victim, and a survivor. Because of the chosen costuming, you cannot tell the gender of the killer. However, my hands are shown, which does show the race. Thinking back, it probably would have been smart to have the killer wear gloves, which just proves that we are not cut out to be murderers. While choosing a production company, we changed our minds multiple times. We began by considering being an independent film, produced by us and shown at music festivals like Sundance and Tribeca Film Festival, in hopes that a distribution company would pick us up. But before we decided on anything, each member of my team researched multiple production companies, including the Big Five: Paramount, Warner Bros., Universal, Disney, and Columbia, and realized that many production companies stick to producing specific types of movies. For example, Disney is known for children's movies like Frozen and The Lion King. So we then looked into production companies that specialize in horror movies and found Blumhouse Productions. Blumhouse is famous and known for a lot of famous horror movies, including Get Out, the Purge movies, and Insidious. An upcoming movie, Truth or Dare, has become very well known and very well advertised, which was created by Blumhouse as well. We finally decided on Blumhouse because they are well known and will help draw the attention of the people we want, as well as give us access to the technology and professionals we need that we would not have been able to use if we went independent. The intended audience for our film are people who enjoy going to the movies in the genre of horror and/or thriller. Teenagers and young adults, ages 15 to 25, are shown to enjoy horror movies more than that of younger and older groups. I also discovered that working class males seem to enjoy horror movies more than females and those of higher class. Because of this, my target group will primarily be teens and young adults. My film will provide the thrill-seeking scare viewers want, and therefore attract their attention. Personally, I am the biggest wuss when it comes to watching horror movies. I watch the entire movie through the smallest crack in my fingers and plug my ears when I know something is coming. However, there is one thought that will help me still sleep at night. It's that supernatural movies are not real, and I have nothing to worry about. This eventually calms me enough to take away the shock and fear I felt while watching it. But when it comes to thrillers and movies about real-life people doing terrible things, like murdering people in their bathrooms, I end up diving into my bed from across the room as soon as the lights go out and trying to fall asleep to SpongeBob. To me, these types of movies are the worst, simply because they are real-life things that happen to real people. That is why I believe people will watch our movie. Not because of the basic jump scares that follow suspenseful music in every horror movie, but because of the lasting effects it will leave on the audience as they seek out the thrill and excitement that they hoped for when paying to see our movie. In order to advertise our movie, we will have advertisements on television and newspapers. Apps like Snapchat advertise movie trailers constantly and earn a lot of attention and support from viewers. For example, the movie Truth or Dare has been advertised all over Snapchat using the companies on their Discover page, like BuzzFeed, Brother, and many more, to display their ads.
I have to ask you, truth or dare? Truth or dare?
Because I go through these almost every day, I have seen this trailer many times in the last month, and now really want to see the movie. In order to accomplish this, we would need to make a trailer, which are often released to catch the audience's attention and give them a good idea of what the movie is about and what to expect. The trailer is a key part in earning moviegoers' attention and interest, so by releasing one of our own, we will attract the public's eye. But distribution companies don't stop there by just making movies known through news and social networking sites. They also use merchandising, which is an important factor in getting people to see the movie, as well as earning extra money. Merchandise such as t-shirts and video games will be used to draw the attention we want. We can put the face of our actresses on shirts, as well as releasing our movie poster to stores and online to be sold all over. There's a lot of equipment that is used when making a movie. Production companies have access to the microphones, high-tech cameras, tripods, lighting devices, reflectors, and much, much more. My group unfortunately did not have access to all of this, but we did have a very decent iPhone, headphones for recording voices and sounds, and a towel to help block out some of the natural lighting through the windows. This is what the bathroom looked like before the towel, and this is what it looked like after. We did not have nearly as much equipment as actual movie producers, obviously, but the technology that we did have was simple and effective for low-budget films like ours. The camera on this phone uses two separate cameras that help correct many of the errors and downfalls. The camera on the 7, compared to mine and Natalie's slightly less top-notch iPhone 6s, make the video quality brighter, sharper, steadier, and better in low-key lighting, which is necessary for a horror movie, given that most common settings for horror movies are at night. I can definitely say that at the beginning of this class I had zero production skills. I couldn't even take a picture without my hands shaking. Yet I also never realized the amount of work that goes into a movie or even a short YouTube video. But throughout this year, we not only learned about the processes of production, but through this project I also got to put these steps into action and make my very own movie intro. My group and I practiced using iMovie for a few projects throughout the year, including making a music video and analyzing other movie intros through iMovie. These projects, along with a little researching help, advanced my ability in producing a movie. I realized that there is much more than just some acting and a camera behind making a movie. I saw that there is a lot of effort and thinking that goes into choosing costumes, makeup, and script writing. Blocking is an important part of acting, and during our filming process, we had to consider this a lot. We took multiple shots of the scenes, moving things around each time. In our original video, we had not considered the placement of our props, and shot an entire murder scene without a thing moved out of place. We decided to reshoot that scene and knock things out of place, which made it way more believable that something had occurred. During the making of this movie intro, we had put a towel against the outside window to block the light, in hopes that it would help it appear dark outside. This definitely made a difference, but not as much as we had hoped for. During our editing process, we played around with different filters and found the perfect one, called Day into Night, that helped give the intro its horror movie feel. While doing this and choosing the costumes, props, and details, both small and big, I learned that there are so many people and jobs that go into producing a movie, and after the making of my mini-movie, I still don't know the half of it. In my research, I discovered that horror movies are typically set in an isolated area, for example, the middle of the woods, showing that there is no one there to help the protagonist. This is usually done to make the character and the audience feel alone and helpless, which furthers the fear felt in the audience. Some famous locations in other horror movies are cabins, for example in Cabin in the Woods, graveyards, like in Night of the Living Dead, nearly empty hotels, like The Shining, and secluded houses, from When a Stranger Calls. These are all perfect locations for a horror movie because they are secluded, empty, and almost impossible to escape or hope for help. Because of this, we chose to use Natalie's house. Although the audience can't tell by the intro that her house is very secluded, if there were to be an entire movie, it could be revealed that Natalie's house is in fact very far from civilization, which my gas tank can tell you from the amount of times I had to drive out there. It is well known that most people, excluding psychopaths and a select few, feel scared when they are at their most vulnerable. This is what horror movies prey on: being alone, being in the dark, and being unaware of the dangers lurking around. We decided to also make the setting in the bathroom, which granted was for multiple reasons, but largely because people feel they're most vulnerable when in the bathroom, which is supposed to be a private place.